Hello everyone, Larry here alongside nobody because Steven's actually out with a sickness right now. He had to go get a coronavirus test just to make sure it wasn't nothing, but he's feeling way better already and it's only been a few days. So we're quite assuming that it isn't the coronavirus, thankfully, knock on wood. But like I said, he's staying in quarantine until he knows for sure and then probably going to stay until he feels better, of course. But that means I'm going to have to find me a special guest host to help me out this week. We were going to originally do a episode on streaming with Chris Smith. Unfortunately, he had some duties to do at work, so we weren't actually able to link up with him. So we're going to be doing that next week. In the meantime, last week we had Andrew, who graced his presence on the show, and this week he's going to fill in as the special guest host for this week. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring him on. Hello, Andrew. Are you ready to be a guest host this week?
Always.
Okay, that's what I like to hear because we're going to need some expertise from you because, Steven wanted to be weak and get sick. The
Happens
disgrace.
sometimes.
You said what?
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, I know, but he's weak. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead. We're going to be talking a lot of different stuff today. And I mean a lot of different stuff. The title of this episode is going to be Talking Amonkhet, but that's not all we're going to be talking about. I want everybody to know that. Amonkhet has arrived. I know with Arena coming out, they wanted to eventually get Pioneer legal, and in the process, they came out with a historic format in the meantime, because I think, and I can imagine on a business standpoint, getting Pioneer on Arena would be very time consuming because that's a lot of coding, I would imagine. Do you know too much about how coding and all that works, Andrew?
No, that's done by people much smarter than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't really know what you do. I didn't know if you're like a web designer or something. I don't know.
No.
No, but like I said, I think Pioneer is a long way off, but I do like that they came out with a historic format. It's something that you could do with all the cards that rotate on Arena, and now it has a lot of implications to being actual like competitive tournaments, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, it's really sweet. It's kind of becoming its own kind of thing, especially with the supplemental products that they're releasing that are going straight into historic.
Yeah, like Jumpstart, for example, is one, or just the what was it?
And the historic anthologies.
Yes, anthology. I was gonna call it historic masters, but the same thing.
Well, in a way, it is, right?
Mm-hmm. And no, I think it's really cool. I was skeptical of historic at first because at first, when they were talking about it, they said it was gonna be a casual format, and I'm not a casual format kind of person. Not my thing.
No, not you and me both.
Yeah, but then they started saying like the Invitational coming up is going to be historic format. So now the MPL members and the rival team members are both going to have to play the format. And if anybody can break this format or establish those good top tier decks, and that's going to be those players. They are paid for a reason. They're quite good players. All of them are good players. And I'm going to be excited to see what they bring to the table, like Brad Nelson, BBD, and all these great names. Those aren't the only ones. You got the Seth Manfields. Then in the rivals, you got like Ali Warfield and all them. I don't know all of them by name, just a few of them. But no, I'm very curious. I don't actually know the date of that event. I'd be kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think it's coming up in the next month or two.
Yeah, I know it's actually it's coming up really quick. Do they call? Do they still call it the Mythic Invitational?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like they do. Because I know the first one was won by Andrea Mengucci. Because I remember that was when it was like that best of one standard thing. That weird format they had where everybody was playing the Esper deck where you had the tutor card to grab cards out your sideboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the name of that card? The 4-drop tutor card. They played it in that. What was that?
Or no. This is before Faya Wishes.
Yeah, it's before Fey. It was like two black mana and 2 generic mana.
Oh, gosh, the one from Dominaria.
Yeah, because it was in Ellie and Trazi's mono black Niv Mizzet chromatic lantern deck.
Yeah, that was a weird format. That was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, September 10th is when that starts. So,
that's
very
that's
close.
Really sneaking up.
Ooh, that's super close. That's closer than I imagined. Um, in my head, I was thinking it was gonna be like October or something, and I do like that it's actually being held on MTG Melee again. That's awesome. I really like that
Yeah.
program a lot. Like,
Oh yeah, no, I've had nothing but good experiences for that.
yep.
It's been really a pleasure to play with.
I can't say that I've had nothing but good experiences because the very first Red Bull event I've ever done was on there, and it did not go
I
very
heard
well.
that was a disaster.
But that was because of the players. Let's make sure we have that clear. Everybody read the thing that said do not click refresh, and all 3,000 players, I swear, were doing it, and then it crashed the system.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's because people don't listen. And it was actually funny. I did the Red Bull last week, which we're going to be getting more into, but I did the Red Bull that me and Steven did, and we were cracking up about it because every round they'd have so many announcements pop up, be like, do not click refresh. They borderline said click refresh and we will hunt you down and hurt you. Like that's how we took it. We didn't even want to look at the refresh button. We were like, no, fam, we can't even do it. Like it was pretty funny. But no, like I'm not saying Amonkhet did come on to Arena this week. It came on yesterday to be exact. Have you messed around with any of it yet?
No, I've been hearing nothing but good things. I just prefer the MTGO form. You know, the program.
Mm-hmm.
Arena, I only play it when I really have to.
No, that's fair. I do enjoy Moda way more. I've been very vocal about how they have a lot of room for improvement on Arena, but I do enjoy drafting. And with Amonkhet coming back, we're gonna be getting into more of the cards. But I got to do a couple drafts. As like Steven's actually currently in quarantine. He messaged me, telling me about some of his drafts too, which have been going pretty well. He actually had like a 6 Slitherblade deck earlier, 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, that's sweet.
With a bunch of cartouches, like that was awesome. I'm actually sending you my draft decks from last night. The first one, variance wasn't on my side. I didn't draw particularly well, and I got ran over by some really good cards. It was a green-white deck with Oketcher's Monument, but it also had like anointed procession, so it doubles the counters. And then I had Sandworm
Convergence. My
Convergence.
favorite Amonkhet cards going on in here, man.
Yeah.
That Sandworm Convergence. Whew.
Oh yeah. The deck is sweet.
My favorite was green red. That was my color combo I always tried to go for.
Now, my second draft deck turned out to be very good. I lost 2 matches fast. I went 0-2 to start because I couldn't get past 2 lands either of them. That's just magic. Nothing I could do about that. But when I did start playing, oh, it was a good time. I played. It was Black White Zombies because I got the Wayward Servant, pick one, and I was like, oh, let's see if we can force it. For those that don't know what Wayward Servant does, it's a zombie 2/2, black and a white. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 and we gain 1.
It's like Suture Priests, right?
Yep. And then it was like pack 2. I got getting into the trials, so it was in the colors. Made easy. I got really good removal and final reward. I got a couple of those, which is exile target creature. I got a cast out, which is a 4 mana exile target permanent until this leaves the battlefield. Also has cycle for 1. Had some really good zombies to go with it. Got some Fanbear. It's a good 1-drop that pays 2, tap it, and you tap it on their creature. The rest of the creatures were just good zombies except for the Tall Crop Elite. But the biggest addition to the deck that I had is I had the one zombie, I forget the name, Binding Mummy. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield, I get to tap a target creature or artifact, which that's really good. And then I got 2 of the Lords, which put it over the top.
Lord of the Accursed is just a really good zombie lord. If you were going to be playing zombies in any eternal format, Lord of the Accursed is one of those cards you go for.
I agree. I played Jerry Thompson's zombie list back when we were when he won the PT, and I went to Vegas shortly after that for the Grand Prix when they had the triple GP Grand Prix events.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing side events, and it was funny because I was taking the mono black zombies, and that's when Aetherworks Marvel was in one of the top decks as well. And I was just 5-0ing. This is when the side events were 5 rounds, and I was going 5-0 every side event, getting a crap ton of tickets. I take it over to the Channel Fireball vendor area. This is where they have singles, and the Vegas is when they have the actual good singles. Because normally, typically at these Grand Prix, they have like some standard cards. They might have vaguely some Pioneer cards, but it's usually all standard cards. Like
They usually also have some really good, like a couple like really big events firing in Vegas every year.
Yep. And then when I'm
typically the draft one and then a modern one typically.
yep, it all depends. Like yeah, last one it was modern, and then they had the Modern Horizons sealed event.
Oh, that's right.
That was just that was exactly next week. Yeah, not this weekend, but next weekend will be 1 year. Um, which Facebook reminds me of all this stuff. Keep in mind.
Of course.
No, but I was 5-0ing those, and I went and I traded those tickets in, and I was getting dual lands and taking those dual lands, selling them to vendors, and getting gambling money for my Vegas trip. It was awesome. Mono Black Zombies was so good because I was easily, like I said, 5-0 in these rounds because it was just such good matchups. I actually lost a win in a PTQ that Sunday with Mono Black Zombies. I was up against the green black. Was it Delirium at that time? No. Yeah, maybe it was Delirium.
No, maybe. Yeah, I think it was. I
Yeah.
think those sets went hand in
Yeah,
hand.
I know it's green black. I'm pretty sure it was a Delirium deck. But anywho, I lost to that. My opponent was mana screwed, but I got flooded and I couldn't find the thing to like punish him. And screw beats flood most of the time because it gives the person getting mana screwed time to get out of it, and they have nothing but reliable spells in their hand at that point. He eventually got out of his mana screw, and he was able to push through and get the victory that way. If I win, I make it to the top 8 of that PTQ, but such is life. But no, the deck felt like great. I did lose one other time that weekend with the deck, and that was to the black-white version, which is playing like the Wayward Servants and things like that, and just had like more utility cards for the mirror match, which usually the 2-color are good against the 1-color version of their decks. So it makes sense. Like I wasn't upset or no about. Of course, you're always disappointed if you don't win, but I was able to.
It's the nature of the game, though.
Right, of course. Everybody should. You have the right to be disappointed. Everybody, we play this game for a specific reason, and that's we want to do well. But no, the deck was straight fire. Jerry Thompson did a really good job tuning that deck. I don't know if he was like the first person to create the deck. I don't want to say he was, but I also don't want to say he wasn't. But I just know that deck was sweet. I really enjoyed it. And now with Amonkhet, we can actually play zombies in Historic. We do miss a couple of the big pieces for the PT version. Diagraph Colossus is a huge not having. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like Diagraph Colossus was such a house, and then Dark Salvation. Like not having Dark Salvation is huge because it was a removal spell that also made zombies. Like
They made 2 of them, right? If I remember right.
I forget the wording on that card. It was an X spell, so it might have been just based on the X. Dark Salvation, MTG. Target player creates X/2/2 zombie creature tokens, then up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each zombie that player controls. And it was double X and a black.
And for those who don't know about Diagraph Colossus, it's a pretty messed up card. It's enters the battlefield 1/1 counters equal to the number of zombies near your graveyard, and then whenever you cast a zombie, you make a 2/2 zombie.
Yep.
So it really gets out of hand really fast.
However, we do have Crypt Breaker in this format because that was in one of the Historic Masters.
That's a pretty good card.
Oh, Crypt Breaker was one of the best cards in the thing because you sit there, you just hold those extra lands and be like, oh, this is going to turn into a body.
If I remember right, its like final ability is Phyrexian Arena, right?
Yep, what you do is you tap 3 untapped zombies. This includes Crypt Breaker itself. You could tap 3 untapped zombies you control and draw a card, and you lose a life. What you can do is you can pay 2, discard a card, tap Crypt Breaker, make a 2/2, use that 2/2 to go towards 2 other zombies, and just be able to draw a card. And it doesn't say sorcery speed. You can do it anytime. They'll be like, kill your guys, and you're like, all right, tap, use that guy that you're gonna kill, so I can draw a card and let it replace itself. Like, Crypt Breaker is a house. Like that is gonna be great. And then you got
sweet as Amonkhet Remastered is, man. I just can't wait till they do like a Return to Innistrad Remastered, because those sets together just make some really disgusting decks.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, you know, a card I want them to do like Eldritch Moon and all that. Because a card I really enjoyed was Ever After. Do you remember that card?
No, which one was that?
So it was 4 and 2 black. You return 2 target creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those creatures are a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. And then you get to put Ever After on the bottom of its owner's library. So what I would do with this card is I would like do the like self-mill kind of stuff, all that. And I would grab Dragonlord Culligan and Ulamog out my graveyard, put him on the battlefield, swing and kill people all the time.
Naturally.
Yeah, all the time. I'd be like, because one, kill the Ulamog. Good luck. We also are missing Liliana the Last Hope that was played in a lot of the sideboards. But
yeah, I don't. Liliana the Last Hope's a weird card now because I don't know how much of an impact she really would have on like the historic format. Because like really in standard, I don't think she would do that much either.
It's only good in the like long mid-range games.
You never really know.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I am excited for Liliana's Mastery though. That was like my favorite card in the deck.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because it put 6 power into play immediately, like even on its own 6 power because it put 2/2/2s, but the Liliana's Mastery is an enchantment that gave all your zombies an Anthem. So the deck was awesome because it got to play the 8 Anthem effects so effectively. Like it was so good. Like, but man, poor Diagraph Colossus. Why couldn't you
It'll come back. It'll come back.
We'll eventually get Eldritch Moon and stuff. But did you see that somebody 5-0'd with Zombies and Pioneer?
No, but that, you know what? That doesn't surprise me. That deck, like I said, from the combination of the Eldritch Moon cards and Amonkhet, it's a really powerful set of cards.
Yes, I agree.
And it's got a lot of interaction to go with that aggression.
Yep, 100%. And I really want to do some zombie lists. Like, I'll burn some wild cards. I don't care.
You're a big zombie tribal fan?
Oh, I love zombie tribal. So, did I ever tell you about GP Detroit when we had Team it was the Team Unified?
No.
So we were stressing about the event because Unified is a horrible like system. Don't ever do it again, Wizards. But we wanted to try to find a deck, and we were wrapping our heads. It was getting frustrating. So I was like, hey, I went to all 3 of us. I was like, let's have fun. If we're gonna do this, let's have the best time we can. So we decided we're gonna do Team Tribal, no Vial. So all tribal decks, but can't play Aether Vial. It has to be tribal decks without Vial. Because at the time, Humans was like a top deck. It'd be too easy. So.
Yeah, what were the top decks? It was, I think it was Tron, Humans, and something with mobs,
Amulet.
Right?
Oh, Amulet.
Amulet, yeah.
Amulet
was another good one.
I'll tell you a story about that as long as like. So we played this. Of course, Elves was one of the decks. Easy. I was in the middle. I played 8 whack. I said not 8 rack, but 8 whack goblins with Simian Spirit Guides in the deck. And then over here to you said what?
So ridiculous.
Don't hate. Don't hate on greatness, but and then my buddy Mo to the right, he played zombies. And we wanted to have an answer to humans, so there's a card called Phyrexian Obliterator. Talk about humans are not trying to swing at you. Like, I tell you that. Oh, buddy. They look at you and be like, yup.
Our teammate JB, that's one of his favorite cards, the Phyrexian Obliterator. He loves equipping it, remembering how he equipped it with Inquisitor's Flail.
Oh, good lord.
Which, for those who don't know about Inquisitor's Flail, it doubles the damage it deals, but also doubles the damage that's dealt to it. The Phyrexian Obliterator just makes them sack their whole board.
Yep.
Oh man, that's so stupid.
Yeah, there's so many cool cards in Amonkhet. We're not gonna go over all the cards because we ain't got that kind of time. Because there's other
Well,
topics I want to
over
talk.
some highlights though, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do some highlights. I want to talk about like strategic plannings in the set. I do think Phoenix has a lot of legs, a lot of legs,
Yeah, it's been close for a while.
and I think that might be
Um,
the thing that pushes them over because now they got that chart. They got the cards. Let's not even ignore them. Cycling, we have Hollow One
yeah,
and a bunch
for
of
sure.
cycling cards. We got good payoffs like Drake Haven, things like that. Like cycling seems legit. We have a new set of. We have the cycling dual lands,
Hmm.
which that's huge. Like cycling, something to look out for. Uh, Oketra's Monument, that's another deck
Yeah.
easily go over the top with it. We've mentioned zombies, of course. I'm wondering if like the bomb style decks. What was that one card? It was the artifact. God Pharaoh's Gate
Uh,
or something like that.
Yeah, it was some God Pharaoh's Monument or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the artifacts. But no, that of course all the gods are back.
That was a tough deck in standard for as long as it was around.
Exactly. That's what I say. It would be so easy for it to still be a deck. I would imagine, like as long as it got cards. Ooh, I forgot all about
God
Nissa
Pharaoh's
Stewart.
Gift. God Pharaoh's Gift. That's the card.
God Pharaoh's Gift. Yep.
And
Ooh.
Gate to the Afterlife. That's what I was getting lost on.
Yep. That's right. But no, it's pretty cool. Nissa Stewart of Elements. That was a fun card.
Big fan. Big fan.
Oh, I do think Esper Control, which was a deck that whole time as well, with Scarab God and Approach the Second Sun, those are huge additions to get.
I think low key Scarab God. Maybe it's not even low key, but I think Scarab God changes the face of historic.
Yep.
Like that card was so oppressively powerful in standard. It was outrageous. I think realistically, Esper Control or Blue White Control are probably the decks you want to be looking out for.
Yep.
Because like with Scare God, you can remove your opponent's Uro from the yard
Yep.
and just have Uro. Like that's kind of messed up.
Yep. Well, how that works, it'll sack to itself. The token will.
Yeah, but you gain 3 life. And,
Yeah. No, it's
draw
still
something.
worth it. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's a bad thing. I'm just saying so people know the interaction. But no, we also.
You can also do it on your opponent's turn too,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, because you can do it on any point. You can do it like you can't do it in response to them like casting out of the graveyard.
Yeah, which is in response to the 5th card being added.
Yep.
That
Oh
would,
yeah.
then would cast it. Then you're just like, okay, now exile Uro. I'll gain 3 life, draw a card, and put another land into play.
Do you remember the mono red decks when they would play Sunscorched Desert so they could play Ramanop Ruins and having another way to sack it so they
Oh,
could?
heck yeah.
Oh
Heck yeah.
man,
I
Ramanop
think
Ruins
Mono
is
Red-
legal
Mono Red's
again.
also a really solid pick too because it has what's the card? Hezeret. It's got Hezeret now.
Oh yeah, we got all the gods, which is awesome. Like the gods are really cool. That Bantu seems really good in like a Rakdos Sacrifice build because it says
I
what.
tried. The Bantu's just it's weird. It's weird, man. But I think one thing that's definitely we're talking about the mono red is that we got one of the best mid-range red planeswalkers ever made, which is Chandra's Pyromaster.
Yes, we'll be
Like,
getting
that
into
combo
those.
is
The
so
cards
well
they're going to be
with,
adding soon. I don't want to really go over those because we're going to go through all the cards that
Oh,
they.
sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Glorybringer. That's a house. I do love some Glorybringer and Earthshaker Kendra. Like the red decks are really good. Combat Celebrate was cool at one time. I could see that being in like a red white tokens list easily.
Infinite combo with Combat Celebrant? Like you have 2 of them or something?
Oh, what was the?
I think it's if
I
you have 2 of them, you can infinitely exert them.
Yeah, that's true.
And you did that with God Pharaoh, or God Pharaoh's Gift.
Was it Gopher? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember the combo like at the very tail end. I know there's like one with
Yeah, that
with
deck
helmet.
was,
You could do it with helmet
of
host.
as soon as your opponent ran out of resources, then you would go for the infinite.
Yep. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just like going through all the spoilers really quick. Alright, so let me check out these.
We also do have a really good card for Enchantress and Historic in 6 cents.
6 cents. Which one is that?
That's the one where it's an enchantment, and whenever you deal damage, that a creature deals damage, you draw a card.
Okay, I could dig that.
But it has to combinate with a player, but still, it incentivizes your opponent to chump block.
Right. No, for sure. Oh, I forgot. Soulscar Mage is legal too. Man, the red deck seems hot. Like,
Yeah, that's all it's saying. It kind of seems like it's got everything.
yeah, the only thing they don't have is Bomad Carrier. Like,
Maybe there's going to be a good Grixis control deck, because I forgot that Nicol Bolas Godpharaoh also got reprinted.
but is that better than just playing the 5 man on Nicobolas?
I think you play them together, but like
Yo,
Nicol
Nicobolas
Bolas
tribal.
Godpharaoh,
We have 3 different ones. Let's go.
yeah, when Nicol Bolas Godpharaoh resolves, the game's like over. I don't know how you beat it when it just goes +1, you exile your hand. +2, I'm gonna flip the top card of your deck until I flip a spell, and then I can cast it.
Oh, they only exile 2 cards from their hand. You know, it's not that
absurd. It's absurd.
No, it's definitely absurd.
7 loyalty too, which is like crazy.
Well, it's a 7 drop, so it better have a
Yeah.
high loyalty.
Yeah, but it's just it's got like 4 abilities and they're all like super relevant.
No, I agree. Like, that card's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking a gander to, like we said, ooh, Cascading Cataracts. Let's not ignore that. That's gonna be really good with Golos, of course.
Are
It's what we-
Minotaurs going to be playable? That Nib the Worthies reprinted?
So
Like, there's some pretty sweet Minotaurs that have been coming out,
I was
especially in
thinking of-
Jumpstart for Historic.
I can't imagine that ever being a tier 1 deck, but damn, that's gonna be a tier fun
Kind
deck.
of cool.
That is going to be a fun deck to play. With Regal Caracos, the buy a box promo, Cats have a really good like top end now. Like, yo, Cats could be a thing. Like, let's not ignore it. Approach the Second Sun. That's one not to like shake your head at. And let's talk about we briefly were talking about Bantu. Like, I actually think Bantu could be good in like the Rakdos list because Bantu says like, a creature has to die under your control or a creature has to die this turn. Let me find the actual wording.
Bantu the Glorified is a creature you control has to have died this turn for him to attack or block, but it's got a 2 mana, 1 in a black, sack a creature to
Scry
I
one.
believe it's Scry.
And then drain
Each
game.
opponent loses 1, you gain 1.
Now, hear me out. In Historic, Cat's still legal.
That's fair.
Cat is legal with Witch's Oven. It ain't that hard to turn a 4/6 Menace on in that format. That seems better than what Registrar was supposed to be doing in those Rakdos decks.
It's probably a strict upgrade to Regisaur, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Like, that seems really good in my opinion. I passed a lot of cool cards when I was looking for that card, by the way, that I forgot all about. Let's go.
And
Ooh,
if you're doing like a reanimate style deck, you do get Razaketh.
that's true. Yeah, that card's really sweet. Nimble Obstructionist. Let's go.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh, I love me some Commit the Memory, though. Oh, I love that card.
Yeah, and that was another reason I was leaning towards control decks, because Commit to Memory, especially with Nissa Parter Avails, is just, it's almost unbeatable sometimes.
Yep, I agree. As for Toad's a sweet card. No
I
doubt.
love that card.
Oketra's gonna be sweet in like the, like I was saying, the Oketra's Monument. Like,
Yeah, that Oketra's Monument deck is actually really quite powerful.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that scene play.
Gideon's Intervention is gonna be sweet in like the control style decks. Obviously, I would imagine that being a good card off the sideboard. We have Gideon of the Trials, which will be in their main boards.
Oh, of course.
Because it says I don't lose the game unless you remove this, and control decks usually don't like you removing their stuff. And Approach to the Second Sun is just a good win condition. I love the Amonkhet set though. Like, I was a big fan of the set. It was a good set. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Did you play a lot of Standard during that time?
I played a lot actually of Sealed during that time. That was when I was really getting trying to practice my Sealed game. Not in terms of like drafting, but like just playing a Sealed pool of cards.
Right. No, makes sense. But yeah, But they did something different. Like, whoever was like deciding like if we're gonna bring Amonkhet, they're like, all right, we've done a good job like keeping it balanced. We didn't let the format have lightning bolt or anything like that from Jumpstart. How about this? Hear us out. We're gonna add some cards to Amonkhet Remastered to spice things up. And don't get wrong, this is strictly to sell packs. I don't have no hate on it. They're a business. But let's talk about some of these cards. I'm gonna list them off. We're gonna go through them really quick. The white cards that I see here. Is there any more? Nope. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't more that I wasn't seeing. All right. So the two white cards are Rest in Peace and Wrath of God. Both are gonna be in a control shell. Hands down, no question about it. Giving them a 4-mana Wrath, unconditional Wrath, is wild.
It's a strict upgrade to what's the Wrath that got printed in Theros? Shattered Sky.
Shattered Sky. Yeah, because they don't draw a card to replace itself. Like, don't get wrong. There's nothing with regeneration on Arena, but
still a relevant text though.
In case something does, things can't be regenerated. In Wrath of God. And Rest in Peace is when there's a battlefield, exile all the cards from all the graveyards, and then going further from the game, as long as Rest in Peace is in play, everything's going to be exiled. It says if a card or token, so nothing will get die triggers. Really good against the sacrifice decks, of course. Then we got some blue cards. We have Pact of Negation, which is very cool that it's in the same set as I'm getting to the Trials. I always thought that was funny. And then we have Jace Unraveler of Secrets. We were talking about this before we got on the podcast. Very, very underplayed card, and I think this card is sweet.
Yeah, I think this actually, in Historic, we're finally going to see it getting the play it deserves, because it is a very powerful control play. Plays off for control decks.
Scry one, then draw.
Scry one, then draw card is busted. Straight busted.
And what's really cool about it is it protects itself right when it lands. Like, it can remove a creature that's a threat because of its -2 is return target creature to its hand. It's only a -2.
It's 3.
Yeah.
It's 3 loyalty, which is huge.
Yeah, being able, it's out of like shock range. They're gonna have to have something more than like a Bone Crusher Giant, for example, to kill it. Like when you start.
They gotta actually commit to killing the Jace.
Exactly, which is huge. And then its emblem says whenever an opponent casts a spell, their first spell each turn, counter it. So it just gets countered.
Basically, you win the game.
Yeah, like it's gonna be so hard to play through that. Like, I don't know many people that can. I have never lost with that emblem.
I've come close, but at the same time, it's like it was because I was already a little bit behind.
Right.
So you had to kind of crawl your way back, but like it's not hard to do that when your opponent can't like really commit.
No, that makes sense. And then it looks like there is 3 red cards. They have no, like everything is a 2 of, and then you got 3 of us for red and green. It's so funny. And then the other cards are just 1 of some. But the red card,
the green one is like kind of busted.
Yeah, we'll talk about the green one shortly. The red ones is Chandra Pyromancer, from what you were mentioning earlier. 2 and 2 red. 4 loyalty to enter. As a +1, it deals 1 damage to target player and 1 damage to 1 target creature that player controls. That creature can't block this turn. Very huge in red decks to do stuff like that. The 0 is exile the top card of your library. You can play it this turn. You still got to pay the mana, of course. And then the next 7 is exile the top 10 cards of your library. Choose an instant or sorcery card exiled this way. Copy it 3 times, and then you can cast those copies without paying their mana costs. Oh yeah, good old buddy right there.
You never with that card. You're never really ultimating it. Like its ultimate's not very good, in all honesty.
No.
But it's the decks that play like that was such a powerhouse in old modern decks because it was just like you always have an extra card that you can play per turn, and the 1 damage to creatures is still hugely relevant because creatures either have like 1 toughness or they have like 4.
Right.
Like it's kind of drastic, the increase. But the preventing them to block is also crazy good in red decks, like you were saying.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. And who knows? This card might be something worth trying because Historic has like the just straight up burn that version of red.
And like I was saying earlier with Hazoret, having that 0, so it like exiles the card so it doesn't go to your hand, but it's another spell you can play.
Yes.
It's kind of huge.
No, that is very huge. Like no argument there.
And to make it so their creature can't block Hazoret, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you're gonna take this 5 and like it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
The other red card is Anger of the Gods. Good sweeper. Exiles all the creatures that they would die this turn. Yeah.
I think that card, like, I'm kind of surprised we haven't got another card like that in Stand.
Yeah, I agree.
For a long time because the graveyard's kind of being abused like heavily again, and Anger of the Gods really was a check on that
I agree.
Of the game.
I think Anger would be actually a fine card for Standard. It kills all the Nissa lands.
I actually was kind of shocked it wasn't reprinted in Theros.
Right, but what can you do? The other red card is a personal favorite of yours. Shatterstorm. Destroy our artifacts. They can't be regenerated.
Scarred by that card. I literally signed a friend of ours. Oh, jeez, I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank, but he plays humans locally here in Grand Rapids, and I signed his copies of Shatterstorm because he's used them on me exclusively.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He topped 8 with me, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Damn, what the hell is his name? I forget.
I just suddenly drawn a blank.
Yeah, I can't think of his name to save my life. He just must not be important.
Good guy.
No, he's a good guy. Right. Yeah, no, that was the tournament like when Oko was the big card in Modern, and he said no mana Rares. I'm just gonna play what's the card that has protection from black and green?
Phyrexian Crusader.
Yes, Crusader. Yes, and he was just like whooping them all day with it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
No, Shatterstorm's a cool card. It's really cool in Historic because you got that Imperial Steel deck. So that could actually have some legs there. I don't know if.
Oh yeah, no, Shatterstorm's always gonna be one of those cards. Like, it's so powerful in what it does. It's just so niche that it just if a artifact that does rise to, some acclaim, there's always gonna be a check. So Shatterstorm's actually, as much as I hate it, is a very good card to have in any format.
Right. Nope, I 100% agree with you. We skipped the black cards, by the way. But we'll go back to those now. We have a card called Demonic Pact. It's 2 and 2 black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. The Demonic Pact deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards. You draw 2 cards, or you lose the game. Now this card's cool. I know to lose the game you have to think like, what's going on? Like, is this a setup? Be like, no. There's a card called Yorion, in a black-white discard deck that's already a deck. Could easily put this in the deck.
This card kind of fits perfectly in that deck.
Yes, you just put this in there, and Yorion blinks it, so you can just like keep reaping the rewards. And then you got Doom for Toad. And then you just sack it to that. Like, it's perfect. Like,
it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, sweet card. Then there's another black card. It hasn't really seen much play through its life, but it's Thoughtseize.
Never seen play.
Yeah, hopefully it's finally gonna get some play. It's just because people don't want to pay 2 life. Like, that's such a bad.
Yeah, it's so bad. The downside is huge.
The downside's so huge, my friend. Like, who would want to pay 2 life?
Yeah, pay 2 life, but you get to take their opponent's best card. Oh, too much. Too much. Too much.
I'd rather die to that best card than pay 2 life. But no.
I think it's gonna. I'm actually a little disappointed, in all honesty, that Thoughtseize has been reprinted into Historic. I think it's pretty egregious and Pioneer already.
Yeah.
And I think it just has formats it deserves to be in, and but that's because the power level's so huge that you just need Thoughtseize to kind of keep the black decks to keep those decks in check. and I don't think Historic is there yet.
No.
I don't even think Pioneer is there where it needs Thoughtseize. But
Yeah.
I know that might be a little controversial.
Yeah, Thoughtseize is a sweet card. You know, it's gonna get played, no doubt. There's already being played. Croaky's actually has a Jund sacrifice Bola Citadel list with Thoughtseize, and then
Of
the card.
course, that's like a perfect show for it.
And then he's also playing one of the card I'm about to talk about, and that's Collected Company.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that.
Yep, Collected Company gets to grab all of those sweet Jund sacrifice creatures and put them right into play. How about we have Collected Company hit 2 Mayhem Devils? Let's do that. What's also cool with Collected Company and Bolas' Citadel is you hit that you hit that second land, right, and you have the mana up still, and you'd be like, all right, now I'll play Company. Look at the top 6, put the creatures in or whatever, and then now I can unlock myself from being stalled out from the lands.
Yeah.
So that'd be actually, I think that's pretty sweet. Collected Company obviously is a busted card. Who knows? We might see banned spirits in Historic now because we do have both lords in the format.
Yeah, I still think it's missing too much. It's missing Queller and
It is missing
Selfless Spirit, but it's also missing Rattle Chains and Mausoleum Wanderer. So I think it's
Rattle Chains is in the
far
format.
off on that.
Rattle Chains is in the format.
Rattle Chains is?
It's in Jumpstart.
Oh man, didn't know that. Woof, right over my head.
Yeah, so the deck, I think the deck is still actually pretty decent, but it still is missing.
That really sweet blue-white card that is a combo with the flyers or something, makes them all cheaper. Came in M21.
Yes, that card's sweet.
That's just recently been seeing a lot of play in Pioneer and really put blue-white spirits back on the map.
Yep. I actually played against that deck in the Red Bull event over the weekend. It was
Oh yeah.
They don't deal with Blazing Volley too well, but that's fine. It's
not all decks do.
Yeah,
not all decks do.
Not all decks do. Nobody can stand ground. The other mentioning of Blazing Volley is good against. We get Hornet Queen, 4 and 3 green. It's a 2/2 flying Death Touch insect. When there's a battlefield creep, 4 more 1/1 insect creature tokens with flying and Death Touch. This card is so annoying. Oh man, this card's so annoying. Have you ever played Limited and you just like, oh, I got my bomb, I should be able to win now, and they go, these 1/1s say no.
I've been one turn away from winning with Affinity, and my opponent's just been like, oh sweet. So I'm gonna respect. I'm like, yeah, go get prime time, no big deal. And then they go Hornet Queen. I'm like, oh well, just lost.
Yeah, for real, yeah, because Emily would play that on the sideboard. It's such an annoying card. It was annoying when I played Phoenix and they'd bring that in, and I'd be like, oh, good lord. I'm like,
you're never gonna win.
No, like,
never getting past it.
Like, it's so annoying. I was like, God, this card's stupid.
Especially when they just held the queen itself back, and you're thinking they should bounce the queen. It's like, well, you tried, Phoenix opponent. You tried.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna replay it next turn.
All teams tried hard. And then we have Lord of Extinction.
Cool card.
It's a dual card. It's 3 black green. Its power and toughness is equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. So
yeah,
cool card. Dies the recipes.
I think that's cool for draw.
Yeah, no, I can see that. It is an elemental, so maybe, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know. It's pretty good with Green Cavalier.
Oh yeah, you ain't lying on that. Yeah.
Yeah. We got a really good fair card. Sphinx's Revelation. It's X white and 2 blue. You gain X and draw X. So it's
classic from RTR.
Yep. Good old when blue white was just like fair basic deck. I don't know if this card's got legs or not. I think it's a cool card to have. It seems really good in Nissa decks, but possibly like if you really need that.
Yeah, maybe in a Bant ramp deck. Yeah, I can see that. Like kind of like another way to what's the card they use now to refill? I don't know. Maybe not good enough because they still have the Krasus.
Right. What is that? Peerless Vaults? Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Perilous Vault, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
Perilous
card.
Vaults. And it's a 4-man artifact. Pay 5, tap it, exile in. You exile all non-land permanents. Card's cool. I don't know if it's gonna actually have legs, but
Yeah,
no.
big mana decks used to use it, like as
Right.
a sort of Oblivion Stone.
Makes sense. No question about that. There's a lot of sweet decks though. Like not decks, but cards. A lot of
Yeah,
sweet cards.
but Amonkhet Remastered is a really cool set, and I really think it's going to add a lot to if you're an arena player.
Yeah, no.
Oh, and just because I know I'm going to forget, it was excuse me, it was Dan Wharton is the humans player.
Yes.
Locally.
Yes.
So shout out to Dan. Apologize,
Yes.
couldn't remember your name sooner.
Yes. I forgot his name too. I don't feel bad. No, but Amonkhet's sweet. Like I said, I've been enjoying it. For historic, like I said, all the decks that we mentioned, I think are going to be super sweet. Um, if I'm going to build historic, I'm going to probably do that Jun Food that Crokies did. Because I was just telling Steven before Crokies built that, I was like, yo, Coco and Sacrifice seems sweet. And then Crokies built it, and I was like, I knew it. I don't know if my version probably would have sucked compared to his. But we were on the same idea. It's awesome.
First instinct is the mono red deck, just because that's
Oh,
my
yeah.
play style.
And it's
But,
just easy. Yeah, you know, it's right there.
I think I'm really excited to see what people like Ray do, because Ray's like super good control player, and I think that this set has opened up so much for control players in the historic format.
I 100% agree with that. I want to, and Jerry Mangucci's already been brewing up some zombie lists, and I'm excited to mess around with zombies personally. That's what I'm going to be. If I'm going to play, I'm getting right into that.
Oh yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit. We talked about the bannings. What was it? Last week was the bannings, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Standard. I don't know if you follow Standard, but I have been seeing on Twitter and various platforms about people complaining about Euro needs to be banned.
I watched the entire Star City Games event they had last weekend because I had nothing better to do, and I haven't been more bored watching Standard in a long time, because it was just like when you were watching the Sultai deck play, and it was so far and beyond like the better than what other people were doing, it just didn't matter. Like the Teamer Elementals deck is, I love Teamer, as you know, and that deck was really sweet, but the Sultai deck just has so much power, and Uro is just kind of disgusting, especially with this Who Shakes the World.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even think Euro is the problem with them
It's
Sultai.
Nissa.
Yeah, I honestly, every time I play against Sultai with the other non-Sultai decks, Euro has never been the problem. Not a single time. And that's not me being biased or anything. I literally was playing Sacrifice every time I've lost to Sultai, which actually I've had a really good success rate against them. I was sitting here like Euro has never been like, oh, Euro, I'm dead. They go Euro, draw a card. I'm like, all right, kill it. Now you just reset it. Like, it's whatever. You get to draw a card, whatever. You paid 4 mana to draw one.
Yeah, honestly, it is Nissa, because like Uro, I played a lot of Standard, and it's like pre-Fires ban, and it was every time someone played Uro against me, I was like, okay, you spent a cumulative total of 7 mana to get this thing in your yard, and then you're recasting it from your yard, and so it's a real commitment. And then the Sultai deck is like, I'm gonna just tap 2 land, cast Uro. And
Exactly.
it's like, okay, well, it didn't really do work for it, and it just kind of, the amount of advantage that Nissa, Who Shakes the World, produces is just absurd.
Like, the biggest issue I have with is Nissa is a card. If you're gonna target something out of Sultai, which nothing's gonna get targeted, let's make sure that's clear. Nothing's getting banned in Standard. That's not gonna happen. That's number one.
They're gonna wait. They're just gonna wait till rotation.
Yes, but honestly, I also think that people are being super lazy when it comes to Standard nowadays.
Oh, for sure.
Because people aren't like, this is all happening after this was after just a couple days. Not a single competitive tournament was played yet.
But I think it's a big part of it is because we're all just stuck inside right now due to quarantine.
Yep.
And when I'm traveling to an event in 2 weeks, and I've already bought my plane ticket. I've already got my hotel. I got to figure out a way to beat this deck. And you just sat down and you figured out these cards can beat this deck. These cards can beat this deck. I'm gonna just play this pile. And a lot of times you get there.
Yep. It was either that or you find the best way to build that deck.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like that's what you have to. Well, like you have to pick one of those. My problem is people are just like instantly like just ban it. No, stop being lazy. Let's get there. Let's try to figure out a way to beat this deck. Which honestly, Eli Loveman has a really good Rakdos deck that I think actually fights Sultai very well, and people aren't respecting it because they're in their mind is all automatically going to Cat's not legal. That deck's unplayable. Why? There's still some very powerful cards in that deck that Sultai has a hard time dealing with. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like, what you got to do is you got to think outside the box. How can I do this? Like, I don't think Adventures is actually very good because I played Adventures. That deck is so bad without Clover. Oh man, that deck is so bad without Clover.
It also doesn't really have that many good ways to like refill its hand and refill its game plan.
Right.
Once it kind of runs out, and that's where like the Sultai deck is so good because it has the Crisis and everything, so it can just refill.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like have the issue with like Crisis in general. How worse would that deck be without Crisis? Because the biggest issue is you counter it and they still draw. Like, usually Flash decks should be good against that, but because they can just go Crisis for 2 and keep putting more cards in your hand, they're outpacing your resources for your game plan. What are you going to do? Hold the resource, be like, I got to hold it in case they draw like the Nissa or something. Or do I hit count, and I got to lead this Crisis now that's going to be swinging. Because if they're doing it for 2, like, I'm talking about drawing 2 cards, not like doing it for the 2 counters. Like,
oh, for sure. No, I knew what you were saying. Yeah.
So now you have a 4/4 swinging at you every turn in the air, which that deck does. Besides Brazen Bar, or it don't have a lot, and bouncing a Petty Thefting a Hydroid Crisis feels horrible. That is the worst feeling ever. Like, you do not feel good about it ever. Like, I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna bounce this Crisis and love it. No. And then the fact that you can go on turn 6 and make a big Crisis because of Nissa, those are the issue cards. Like, let's be real. Euro's a cool card. He's a very powerful card. Not saying the card's not powerful, but I do think the decks and everything in the format would be so much better if we would got rid of Nissa or Crisis. Because honestly, I'm about tired of Nissa. Like, Nissa has been a headache since its incorporation in the format and Magic in general. Like, I'm ready for that card to be gone. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
No, that card's kind of. I'm not going to say it's oppressive, but it's a pretty obnoxious card to deal with, especially because it turns your lands, which, like you were saying earlier, when you flood up, it's really bad when you flood out, opposed to somebody who's just, not drawing their lands.
Yeah.
But Nissa gives you something to do with your lands that you're flooding into, and then you draw something like an Ugin or a Crisis, and then suddenly that flooding problem.
Yep.
Becomes irrelevant because you just draw so many cards because your lands all tap for 2.
Yep, I agree. I know the Red Bull qualifier. There's another one tomorrow. I'm playing Sultai. I know.
I think if you weren't, you would be doing yourself a disservice.
No, I really think that Sacrifice deck is really good. But I've been playing Sultai. I've had some really good success. I haven't lost a mirror match yet. Not saying I won't. But I'm doing very well in the mirrors. I did play
mirror match. That's a really tough mirror match.
And I did play the Sultai mirrors a lot when Oko Standard was a thing, because I was going to that GP when they had the Richmond PT and everything. So I had a lot of practice in those like Sultai style mirrors and valuing cards, all that kind of stuff, and figuring out game plans. And also I found out how bad Thought Distortion card, how that card's unplayable. So
yeah, when I saw that card being played again in Standard, I couldn't really figure out why.
Yo, that card sucks. I don't know why people were playing. Like, I played Ari Lox's list, and the list was good except that card. The rest of the list was hot. Like, I loved every second of it. But the Thought Distortions, I was like, it must be for the mirror. Brought in the mirror, I was like, man, I just want to discard this to anything. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what matchup I would be bringing that in for. It's like that's just not that great.
No. The one that won the Red Bull last week, they have a really good list, and I'm probably gonna be playing something close to that. I thought about playing. I really thought about playing like a Necromancer or something, just to like take my opponent's Nissas out of the deck. Like I ain't gonna lie, I thoroughly thought about it. Like I was gonna be like, you can't have those. You don't get nice things. But yeah, Casualties of War. Honestly, in the mirror, Casualties of War hasn't been like super impressive. It's usually like a very expensive kill your creature. Like
Is that their only board wipe in that deck too? Is just, or it's not even really a board wipe, but it's their only like really hard piece removal? Or do they? Oh no, they have
no,
the Otter Even one, right?
Yeah, they play that. They play a bunch of Eliminates, Heartless Acts. The deck is mono removal. Like the deck has a ton of removal. Post board, what I've been doing is I've been like boarding out of like the extinction events and stuff like that, and just bringing in like more counter magic and stuff. And I just play a straight control matchup with them. It's because people be blowing their counters.
Just do that with a Nissa part reveal.
Yep. People don't understand how to value what the cards in the matchup really is. Because I have people countering some weird cards. Like I mean weird cards. Like I've had people like disputing like just the weirdest things. Like what was it? Oh, I think I was just like I played like a Crassus for literally two. Literally just to start putting pressure because I didn't really have much else going on and I just wanted the card. And he was like, dispute it. I was like, sure, kudos. I was like,
sure.
What is this for? Like, why do you have to know what to counter, what not to counter. You're not worried about a 2/2. That 2/2 is not. Euro's going to be able to gain you 3. You negated and gained 1. You're fine. Like 2 life isn't gonna go that quick. Like you'll be perfectly fine. If you're gonna die to a 2/2 in 10 turns, you probably weren't winning that matchup. Anyway, just so you know, like the cards weren't in your favor that round. But no, I'm playing. I'm gonna be playing Sultai tomorrow. I'm gonna be registering my list within the next couple hours actually. But yeah, I'm just gonna play Sultai and hope to play well. Worst case, I die quick. I'm gonna go do some work afterwards. Like I'm not really invested into this tournament. I think they're cool tournaments. They're free to do. Like they're fun. If I don't do well, that's fine. Like I just move on from it. If I do day 2, I'll be doing 2 tournaments at once because I'm playing the Legacy one Sunday as well. So I'm gonna have both tournaments loaded.
Outrageous, dude. Outrageous.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, man. But I want to talk a little bit about the Legacy as well. But before we get into that, let's talk about Pioneer Modern. It's been over a week or whatever since we had the ban announcement. Pioneer seems super open right now. From what I've seen,
there's no deck that's really kind of, I would say, dominating. Like the Niv decks are seeing a lot of really good results, and like Spirits are too. But I mean, just because those decks are seeing like the higher like results doesn't like Delirium's doing good, Mono Black Aggro's doing good, Mono Green is doing really good.
Yep.
It's just there's a lot of options in the format, and I think people are sleeping on the Lotus combo again.
I was just about to say, I'm like, people not playing that is so wild to me because that deck was already pretty good beforehand, and then that deck is still good. I think I think people should start respecting that deck more.
I think I just think people don't. There's that weird stigma people have. I mean, you talked to Stephen about it, a couple weeks ago, but like people just get really butthurt about like when you're comboing out. But it's that deck's also very difficult to play. Like for me personally, because I just don't really like. There's some people like our teammate Nick, who's just that's his bread and butter is combo. I'm playing that deck, and I feel like I'm stumbling my way through a turn.
That's fair.
If he was in that same position, he would be dominating.
Yeah, because weren't you trying to play like a combo deck when we were like at a tournament in Chicago and you were messing around with his deck?
It was regionals in was it Lansing or something? And I was playing in Modern. I was playing inverter combo.
No, that was in Saginaw.
But it was
Saginaw.
People were testing inverter.
Saginaw.
Yeah, Saginaw. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, they ain't playing regionals in Lansing, but no, but yeah, like combo's just not your thing. Like you're pretty good with like the more aggressive style strategies, and
Yeah, but
tempo-y
I
strategies
think people
too.
are sleeping on that, really sleeping on that Lotus deck because that deck is kind of busted.
I agree. I think Lotus is actually a really good deck still, and I think people are going to realize it. Hopefully, it's not too late. But like, if you're the second person to find it, it's usually because the first person hits you with it.
Yeah, and it's a really big thing that people are cutting right now, which is a reason why I say that the Lotus deck is underplayed. Is people are cutting like those effects like the surgical effect, the
Yes.
ones that just strip all the cards. Because like really, if you surgical the Faya Wishes out of those decks, they don't do anything. They
I
like they'll
agree.
lose.
Yep.
But if you don't have the surgical effect and they get Faya Wishes, I mean they have so many win cons. They have Ugins and enter the infinite and omniscience. That's how they win, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And yeah, it's kind of disgusting. The deck is really kind of disgusting.
Yeah, deck is quite good. Yeah, there's just so many decks that people just don't respect, and it's so wild. I know if I played, I'd probably go because I like playing zombies, and a zombie just 5-0 not too long ago. But no,
Oh,
right,
did
and
it
not right,
really?
but yeah,
Oh, you're telling me about that before the show. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, Also, Steven, they did really well when they were playing Mono Red. They were just like body and like spirits all day.
Yeah, I forget who I was telling, but I said if I was to like if if I was to play a Pioneer event tomorrow, I would just sleeve up Boros Burnt
Yeah,
like I did for the NRG event. I just think that it's just so consistent. It's so consistent at just killing people fast.
yeah, no, that's
Even with
awesome.
the nerf of Luris, like Luris, you didn't even play over half your games. You just like had the option.
You're like, oh yeah, you're here. I forgot about you, my friend. Like, no, for like, I 100% agree, man. Like, Zuzu.
I think people are kind of just going back to the deck. It comes back to people being lazy again with their deck building, where they're going back to what they know is good.
Yep,
Like with the Mono Black, the Niv Mizzet, Spirit, Sultai Delirium, that kind of thing.
yep.
Really interested to see where like the Naya Winota decks go, because I think Winota's kind of absurdly busted. Like
Yeah,
I
no,
don't,
Winota's one of the very busted cards in Magic, no question.
I just think that card is probably its potential isn't being fully tapped because that card just does everything.
I agree. Like that card is busted. Just what it does. It's like I would understand it more if it said, "All right, when a Winota attacks, this is what happens." They're like, "Nope, whenever." Like just having Winota here. Winota watches everybody do the fun stuff. It's so
Yeah,
fun.
especially like when they like get all the Winota triggers and then they get another Winota off the Winota. It's like okay,
I,
like I get it. It's you got to sack the one that just entered play, but now I got a 6/6 coming at me that's indestructible. Like it's kind of absurd. There's a
yo,
4/4, excuse me, 4/4, but
real
still
talk.
absurd.
This Jund Citadel deck in Pioneer that 4/1 looks hot. Um, so it plays like blister pods and stuff like and catacomb
I
sifters.
I saw that list running around.
Yo, this
I
list
think
looks
it's pretty cool.
and they play company. Wow, yeah, this looks nice.
I think Pioneers is such a good place right now. I
Yeah,
think it's in a really good place.
yeah.
I
I'm
think
looking through all the lists. There's a lot of different decks, man. Like,
I appreciate the fact they didn't completely kill combo. Not that I play combo. I think combo is kind of like the most just obnoxious deck for me personally to play. But again, it's not my style.
mm-hmm.
But just to have it still live for some people in the form of Lotus Field, like if that's your kind of jam, that's awesome that you still get to play it. But it
Right.
was Pioneer was in such a bad place because everything was combo, and now to just strip that away, and we now have that kind of we have the creature decks and the spell decks and the control decks, and everything's just kind of just it's just so fun. It's so good. right now.
Yep, I agree. And I'm just looking at this the Winota deck here. Looks pretty good. That's about all I can
Yeah,
say about that.
it's pretty straightforward. It
Yeah,
just
not much
does
I
what
can
Winota
say.
does.
Like, I don't know what else to say about it. It looks friendly.
Looks like Winota.
It looks like a deck that you will enjoy losing to.
Very much so. Very much so. It's the kind of deck where I would lose to it and I would be shaking my head the entire time resolving 5 Winota triggers.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about Legacy. Well, no, before we do that, let's just touch Modern briefly. Let's not leave Modern out. We didn't talk about
I'm
Modern.
loving Modern right now, man. Modern is so cool.
Yeah, Modern seems really awesome. You've been doing quite well on Modern, I hear.
Well, I've just been playing a lot of that Hammer Time, man.
Yeah, Hammer Time. Tell us a little bit about that.
The best deck. It's pretty good. Oh, well, it's like, long story short, it's a combo deck of sorts. It's a creature-based combo deck that wants to just make a 12/12 creature and just kind of smack people in the face.
Okay.
Long story short, but you have it just centers around Colossus Hammer, which gives target creature +10/+10, and the creature loses flying, which is relevant text actually.
Right.
But it uses some really weird cards that haven't really seen Modern play ever, like Magnetic Theft, which, for those who don't know or unfamiliar with the card, is attach target equipment to target creature you control. And for those who don't know the rulings about equipment can only be equipped to if I control the equipment, I can only equip it to a creature I control. That's kind of how equipment's always been. It always will be. But Magnetic Theft is the only card in Magic that allows me to take an opponent's equipment and put it on one of my own creatures. So if your opponent's using, say, a Stoneforge Mystic with a Batterskull, you can steal their Batterskull, which is pretty ridiculous.
Does that come up a lot?
It comes up enough. I actually played it. All in all, with the deck, I am 17-3.
Okay.
And I only have 150. I've lost, whether it be Mana Screw or sometimes you just have a really good game and you just kind of just lose. But
right.
Just the format in general is pretty open right now, which is awesome. But the deck kind of loses to Chalice of the Void, which is obviously your deck's primarily one drops.
Yeah, you're not doing much against a Chalice.
Though you can play a Stoneforge Mystic, and with Stoneforge Mystic's ability, get the hammer into play.
Truth.
But by doing that, you can make it, you can kind of, like I was saying, how the hammer makes you lose flying. So one of the deck's best ways to kill you is to animate an Inkbomb next and put a hammer to it. But you want to do all this stuff after blockers are declared, so they can't just, block after you equip the hammer to kill them.
Right.
But one really sweet play the deck actually has access to is if, because of how layers work, is if I have my Inkbomb next, I equip a hammer to it. Still before blocks, I can animate the Inkbomb nexus again, and based on the layering, it will have flying.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a pretty sweet little tidbit. But as Modern stands right now, like I said, I'm having a good time with it. But that's because the Blitz decks, the Prowess decks, are really seeing a lot of play. And I personally have, I just know how to play against those decks. I personally don't mind them as much. And the Blitz decks, they kind of have a big problem with a card called Core Firewalker.
Yeah.
And,
I hear that.
What's the other? Burton Forge Tender. I play both in the sideboard. But,
you're so evil.
I just want to beat that matchup, dude. But
you don't feel bad about that?
I think Modern is, when Blitz is the best deck. I'm not saying it's a good format, but whenever a format changes, everyone kind of just goes to the red deck. And Burn hasn't been the red deck in a long time. It's just, Blitz is just the better deck now because we just have so many cards. And but we're slowly starting to see the prowess decks kind of the percentages going down again. But we're seeing like I think the second most played decks like Reclamation. I think if I remember right, it's kind of dumb, but Uro's a good card. Or maybe it's not Reclamation, but it's like ban good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe Modern won't be an healthy place if like those control decks become like top dog again. I never am a big fan Modern when like control is like the best deck you can be playing, because I mean, just like you, Larry, I value my time, especially at tournaments, like paper tournaments, and when every person in that room is playing control, it's
good times.
It's either a good time or it's the most miserable like play experience ever, because you're just sitting there waiting.
Oh yeah.
For the next round to start, you're like, oh god.
Yeah,
I could have got food, but I didn't.
Yeah. I remember an idea where I could have ate some food. That was a nice time.
Yeah.
That was the dream. Like, one day. Yeah.
No, but I think Modern and Pioneer are so good right now. I think the only thing that could make Modern better is if they ban Rest in Peace and unban Mox Opal. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, Whip is too powerful.
They could just give us one time. Give me Golgari Great Throwback.
Just one time.
One time for the folks at home.
You had your time in the spotlight with Brawl, okay?
It's not enough. It's never enough.
Just like Legacy Dredge.
It's never enough.
Like, what is it? The Zero Land Dredge deck. Just do that.
Oh, God. Oh, that's a bad deck, my friend.
I played, because we're about to go to Legacy. I played against that deck at a paper Legacy tournament.
Yes.
And, like, I actually had no idea what was going on. I'm, like, reading these cards. I'm like, am I worried about this card being played? And then, like, after one match, she kind of just did her thing, and I'm like, okay, I see it now. I'm going to win. I know I have to play around. But it was just like, what on earth, man?
Yeah, it was.
It
was something else.
A powerful card.
It is quite powerful when you don't have to pay any mana to do stuff, That's always a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I do want to transition on over. We have a Legacy tournament this week. Because it's kind of interesting for those that haven't heard us mention. Now that Wizards has lifted up the restrictions on doing online tournaments, NRG actually did to do a cash tournament this week. And with that being said, this cash tournament's going to be pretty cool. It's a $1,500 in prizes, and I believe it's the top 8 strictly again. It's like $15 to enter, I believe, when I last looked.
I think what it is, I think it's like $11 and some change.
It goes up to about 15, I think.
Like entry price, but then you have to pay a fee of like $3. That's somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, at some point, but I think that's just the MTG Melee fee to play in the tournament. Like that's their cut, but it's all in all $15 for a player to enter.
Yeah, it would make sense though.
But
they would want to.
I'm checking the tournament, like how many people are enrolled every single day.
Yeah.
And I am so happy to see that this tournament is actually getting a lot more attention.
Where are we at?
Because I'm just like you, Larry. I love the NRG guys. I think they're great. I think Norm and Max, they're just great guys, and they run some really good events.
I agree. What are they at right now?
They're at 41 players, and I think the last one capped at, or it didn't cap, but it stopped at 56, I believe.
Okay.
Which, for a Legacy tournament, is a big showing, actually, which is kind of sad. But 56 players for Legacy is pretty huge.
Yeah, I agree. It was very huge. And it was a good time. I was super hurt after that tournament, so
No, you had that sunburn thing going on, dude.
No, it was a sunburn. I had some other stuff. I couldn't walk.
Uh,
But no, it was some stuff from our trip. It was fine though. You know, memories. We'll call it that.
I was so burnt.
I wasn't burnt. I had some unfortunate situation. Like, so I'll tell the story. Since I don't think I've actually told the story to any of you guys. So you guys were ahead or something. So we came to the island. The ropes on our area started to break off, and I didn't realize it. And I saw that we were breaking off, so I went to get out of the tube. I didn't realize how strong the current was to the left side of the island. Like,
Oh no.
the current was super strong, so it was like I couldn't like fight it. So I was getting pushed, and underneath the water, because it was like closer to the shore and stuff, there's a bunch of trees and rocks and stuff, and I was like hitting them really hard.
Oh, you were getting banged up.
Yeah, I was hitting them really hard, and I had to like push myself to get over to the island, and I just had to like abandon that tube, like as it was going down. The dude, what's his name? He was on the kayak.
Oh yeah.
He ended up like going to get the tube for me. Yeah, I was out of breath. Like it was bad. Like I got messed up, like really messed up. I did get burned too. And then it was funny. After that, I went to the doctor, and they told me, and I don't know the medical term, but I essentially have ginger skin. That's
You're one of us.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. Did that, and it probably makes sense. I'm a big fan of Cartman, from South Park. So that's karma. Um, no, but it was a good time. But no, the Legacy tournament, I wasn't able to have my full focus. I did all right. Up until yeah, but eventually I wasn't able to like keep my mind focused on the game, and I made a lot of play mistakes in those last few rounds. And that's gonna happen when you're not able to fully focus.
Yeah.
And my opponents played well. Round 1 didn't count, in my opinion. He went turn 1 Lackey into turn 2 6-drop Goblin.
Yeah, that'll happen in Legacy, dude.
I got busted. I looked at it. I was looking at my hand. I was like, all right, I know I have no bolt or chain lightning. This force ain't gonna cut it.
No.
I am going to die a miserable death. Let's do it together. It was so funny. And then the second game, he only had a 1-1. I'm doing all right. I'm like, yeah. He draws his 6th land, plays the 6-drop. He puts like 15 power into play or something stupid, and I'm like, this is where we die. Yep, we're dead. What are you thinking about playing, my friend? Or is that even a question we should ask?
You know, obviously we talked about ninjas, and still, and like we talked about with Legacy, it's a format that it rewards you for knowing your deck, and you know, kind of going through those same play lines. But I mean, I was thinking of doing, oh gosh, what's it called, Steel Stompy or Eldrazi? Probably just Eldrazi Stompy. But
Okay.
I think Chalice is really, you know, pretty good right now.
Chalice is
But I
quite
think having a deck that has spot removal like ninjas and a way to actually answer Oko is pretty important because, you know, as you know, we were talking about how healthy Modern and Pioneer is. I think Legacy is slowly just kind of going back to Oko being easily the best card. I do think, like we were talking about, I do think Tribal is a huge powerhouse in the format. But just Oko in general is just kind of, you know, it's pretty hard to answer it.
Right.
But I think we just need to be playing a little bit more eliminates.
I actually sent you the list that I'm probably going to be playing up on this Sunday. And it's
I heard you talking about the Bant. It's like a Bant Blade deck.
It's Bant Delver.
Yeah.
It's a Delver deck doing the white splash instead of the red or black, and it's for the Stoneforge Mystic package, along with Swords. And I think Swords is actually quite good right now. And then this deck, so I'm gonna go through the list for those that don't know. It was a 5-0 by B_Garbs. It's 3 Okos obviously, and the creatures are 16 creatures, all are 4-ofs. We have Delver Secrets, Noble Hierarch to make your mana better. Also, Exalt triggers are a thing. 4 Stoneforge Mystics and 4 True Name Nemesis. We have the 4 Ponders, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Days, 4 Force of Wills, just like you would see in typical Delver decks. Then we got 3 Swords to Plowshares. The artifacts that Stoneforge Mystics is going to tutor up is 1 Batterskull, 1 Sword of Fire and Ice, and 1 of the Jitte. Then the land base is quite simple. 3 Wastelands instead of 4. It plays 1 island is the only basic, which at least we have the 1 island, and we're not just vulnerable to Wasteland, I suppose. The sideboard's cool. You got the 4 swords in there. Got a couple disenchants, couple forces, a Jace the Mind Sculptor, a Sylvan Library, couple Deafening Silence, a Flusterstorm, Hydroblast, couple Rest in Peace, and a couple Veils. I think this list actually has better fight against Hogak than the other decks do, but that's just my opinion. Because I think Rest in Peace is better than Surgical against them.
Yeah, I think I too am kind of going on like a green splash. I'm thinking about just doing Sultai Ninjas, so I have access to Oko.
I like that. I think Oko's just such a strong card. I did see this list that was in like a Legacy Championship or a Challenge or something. They were playing your ninjas, and they were playing 1 Murder's Cut. Is that a card you've thought about?
Yeah, Murder's Cut I have a love-hate relationship with. I think the card's fine, but like if you have it in your opening hand, it doesn't do anything. Which is the problem.
I agree.
But, one thing I want to mention, because we're talking ninjas here, Yuriko is now a $70 card on Moto.
Damn.
When I played in that NRG event, it was a $20 card on Moto, and since then it has quickly became $70.
You know, another reason I didn't want to play ninjas is because I don't want to play the mirror. I really expect the mirror to be heavy.
Like this blade deck, the mirror seems awful. True Name Nemesis mirrors are always.
I don't expect the banned version. I think I'm going to be playing against Teamer.
Sure.
So I highly doubt I'm going to be playing against those, in my opinion. I also thought about just playing like blue-white, like Standstill.
Sure. I don't think Standstill is a good spot right now. I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, it just looks like a deck that I would enjoy. Not saying that it's the correct deck by me, but no, I think the ban Delver, because I know Delver decks. I've been playing Delver decks for a minute. And then the fact that I love decks that play True Name Nemesis. I think that card just a house.
True Name, yeah. I think it's I think it's kind of underrated right now.
Because it just Oko can't deal with it very well.
The problem, I think this is a big reason the True Name Nemesis has dropped off, is like Oko, like all the cards that True Name Nemesis was like really good against, Oko kind of invalidates True Name because he just goes +2, make a food, and then so the True Name's only doing 1 damage to Oko, right? So then the opposite side is, okay, I'm just going to attack you, and you attack the player, and then they just go, okay, that's fine, I'm going to crack this food and gain all the life I just lost.
Now, how is the Oko only take? So repeat. So
because the food, the +2, it gains a food. So you're only losing 1 loyalty if the True Name's going for Oko.
Okay, I got you.
And then if you go for the player, you just crack the food and gain the life back. So I really think, and I'm not big on bannings either, Larry, just same as you, but I think really in Legacy, I would love to see Oko go.
I'd love to see Oko erase from Magic's history.
In all honesty, I think Oko was better, like a more fun card in Modern than it was in any other format, and that's because like the Modern format is just a lot of raw power hitting the board constantly, over and over and over again.
Right.
So Oko had to kind of, had to work to stay in play. But it's a very difficult card to play, and I think if you're good with Oko and the strategies that can really fit him in there, I think if you're not playing an Oko deck, you might be doing yourself a disservice.
Yep. I also thought about playing a fun deck, and now I was going to play that Karn Echoes deck.
I think that deck's sweet. I think it's sweet. It's just
Like,
not really where you want to be, man.
yeah, it's just super fun. Like I said, it was a deck I was gonna play and have a good time with.
No, I don't. You're not wrong there, man.
Like that
I
deck,
think it's cool.
that's a deck I would play if I just wanted to have fun. I also don't see any hate in somebody playing Hogak, honestly. Like,
Yeah, me personally, it's not. And again, not my thing. I think the Hogak deck is very powerful, but um, I think with the enough decks in Legacy play graveyard hate in the form of Leyline of the Void. One of our teammates, Adam, who's really big into Legacy, just pointed out Surgical Extraction's one of the most highest played cards in the format, which makes sense because it's a very difficult card to answer.
agreed.
And it can just kind of lock your opponent out of games. If you take the Hogak, the deck is still really powerful. It's great to hit you with Vengine and stuff, but then if you can just follow it up with a little bit more pressure, I don't know, for example, a Plague Engineer and naming Zombie. Yeah, you might be closing your opponent out. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I could definitely agree there.
I think if you're going to be playing Legacy in this Legacy tournament, I think you should be picking a deck that's. First of all, I think you should be playing a blue deck with Force, and you should be playing a pretty resilient deck to a lot of strategies. I think I'm glad to see Wasteland is not nearly seeing as much play as it used to. So that's always a plus. I think Wasteland's kind of a boring card to play against myself, but it's I think blue black ninjas. I think it's a good option for you. I think the tribal decks are a good option. I think they're all really resilient in what they're trying to do. But I think really, like I said before, if you're not playing Oko, you're not really you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right, that's the main reason I was going to play that. It's playing Oko, and I think Stoneforge actually gives a nice little utility as well.
Oh yeah, no, I think Stoneforge Mystic is underplayed again in Legacy. It's Jit is so good, and then Sword of Fire and Ice is just ridiculous.
Yo, you put a Jit,
and of course, and of course Batterskull. Let's not forget Batterskull.
You put a Jit on a true name, and it's a good time.
I did that in a 15-card cube for our friend Noah's birthday. I had Jit and Batterskull in my 15-card deck, and I didn't lose a single game. I was just like, true name you, and then Jit. And my opponents literally would just pick their cards up. It's like, how do you beat that?
Has Sword of Fire and Ice been errated where you can hit Planeswalkers?
Yes. Yeah. Sword of Fire and Ice is target. Let me just check just to be on the safe side, but let me see. The Double Masters reprint says combination player deals 2 damage to any target.
Okay. That's what I would imagine, because everything that says target damage to target player usually says to player or planeswalker now. So I was just curious. But I think I'm pretty locked just to play this list, because like I said, I know Delver. I've played a lot of Delver. It plays just like Delver. It just has some.
Yeah, I am looking at this list again, Larry. It looks rock solid to me.
I'm not a big fan of Flusterstorm, to be honest with you. I think Flusterstorm's actually not very good right now.
I think Flusterstorm's horrible right now.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to play Flusterstorm. I'm going to just play another reliable. And Hydroblast is the one that counters red spells. Is that how that works?
Hydroblast is the one that counters red spells or destroys a red permanent. So it's actually not very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Hydroblast.
You want to play the.
I guess if you want to respect goblins, it's pretty good. I'll tell you that.
Actually, now that you say that, that might not be horrible.
Yeah, because I think don't get wrong, this swords is gonna be nice, but I do think I want to respect goblins. I didn't respect them last time. It didn't work out well.
Yeah, I think I'm really gonna be playing Sultai Ninja's deck on Sunday. I think Oko, the inclusion of Oko is just really busted. And you get Abrupt Decay, which Abrupt Decay is kind of absurd in Legacy, absurdly good.
That's the benefit of playing online right now, is that if we decide we just want to play something different like that, we just can.
Yeah,
It's
I think
awesome.
and we were talking before the show started. The big problem I have with online right now is the actual online economy, which is just like I was saying, like a Yuriko is $70.
Yes, I
Like that's crazy,
yes I
and it's
agree.
like in paper it's like what, like $8, something like that. Maybe
Yeah,
more. I don't know. I bought
it's
mine
like
for like 6 when it
it's
first
pretty
came out.
dirt cheap. I think still like I don't think it's that expensive.
Yeah, and and again, that's because paper tournaments aren't really seeing play. Like commander cards are really expensive, but like constructed playable cards really aren't jumping in price. But like Force of Negation online is like $90 as well, which is absurd.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be playing Legacy, most Legacy decks play if they play the 4 Force package, they also play 2 Force of Negation,
Hmm.
which in the last NRG event, I didn't. If you look at my list, I didn't play any copies of Force Negation.
Right.
Not because I didn't think the card was good. In my actual paper Legacy Ninja deck, I played Force Negation in the sideboard,
Hmm.
but I couldn't actually afford it on Moto for my deck.
Jeez, jeez, oh
It,
jeez.
the Modern Horizons cards jump your price so high, and same goes with the Commander cards too. Like I'm looking at actually a Legacy Ninjas deck right now, and on Goldfish, and it says that retro bidder's $20. Like in order to play like a legit Legacy deck, you need to kind of have a really big either card hoarder account or mana traders account. But I do like the fact that you don't. I can jam Legacy and not have to know a dozen people that are, I'm not saying collectors, but Legacy players, where I can just bum some duels.
Right. No.
So like, especially with the duels on Moto are like what, $10 maybe, something like that. Not
Right.
even. So I don't know. I love the fact that you can just kind of just jam Legacy though, which that's a huge benefit to playing online.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. Like I'm just I like I said, probably pretty sure I'm replaying that, but I still like to take a look at lists, make sure that I'm doing the correct thing. Um, I've been looking through lists like while we've been talking. Like so far, that looks like where I'm going to be at. I've been
I
looking.
think the only thing I don't like with your list is the Mind Sculptor in the sideboard. I don't think Jace actually is good in Legacy right now, which
Yeah,
is kind of
seems too
absurd to say because
expensive to try to like get them to resolve.
yeah, that's the problem. Is he's just really expensive, and Daze is a card still, and Daze still sees a huge amount of play. And
Yes,
the one-of copy of Jace, I don't know. It seems like you're committing a lot. You know what I mean?
it's
To try and resolve it.
and the thing about this list, this was a league, so being able to catch people off guard with a Jason in a league is going to be way different than an open deck list.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to touch on is open deck list.
Open deck lists have been one nice. Oh, oh, buddy,
I
they've been nice.
actually really enjoy open deck lists. Like I love playing like a really jank pile, like my Rug Moon piles in Modern,
Yeah,
where I go to a tournament and I top 8 the tournament, and like people are like how I play it locally and I get dumpstered. And people are like, how did this top 8? And it's like because no one knows what I'm on. No one knows I'm playing, so like, that element of surprise can get you. But with these open deck lists,
mm-hmm.
like it's a lot more player to player, man to man kind of play.
Yep.
Like I'm gonna be playing X strategy. You're gonna be playing X strategy, and we're gonna kind of just be slinging cards, and maybe I'm gonna resolve and win, but maybe not. Like, but I know what you have to fight me, and I know what I have to fight you. So I think it's good. I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wonder how good Lauren is.
Allurin, I don't think it's good enough.
Let's not
I think
let's not even
for
look
those
at
who
this.
don't know what Allurin is, we should probably
Yeah,
let people know because that's a really obscure magic card.
yeah, let me pull it up. So it's a 2/2 green enchantment. Any player may play creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less without paying their mana cost, and as though they had flash. Have you ever flashed in a Euro? Cause buddy,
What is the combo? Because Allurin's a combo. It uses Ice Fang Codals and something else to kind of just cycle through its deck. And then it has.
Let's take
I
a hold
can't
on. Let me
remember.
take a
It's
look.
been so long since I played an Allure.
Cavern Harpy. When this comes into play, return a blue
That
or
was
black creature, and then you pay 1 life. Return this to its owner's hand.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you go Cavern Harpy, and well, now how do you gain life?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I guess you
There's
got
a new card
Euros
from
and
Commander
stuff.
set. When leaves. Oh, this is how they do it. It's a new card that came from Commander. Yukima Stalking Shadow. When it leaves the battlefield, it deals X damage to target player, and you gain X life for X its power.
What is the name of the card?
Yukima Stalking Shadow. It's a whale wolf.
It's not even on here.
This is
Yeah.
they're listed at what 6-2 to Legacy 2. It's pretty sweet. But I think Legacy is actually pretty open right now. But long story short, I think Oko's probably too powerful in Legacy. I think Oko's kind of warping the Legacy format in a bad way.
I could see that. I wonder if Leovold's pretty good.
Leovold, fine. Again, it's Oko's warping the format because like Oko can just elk Leovold and it doesn't do anything. It's a pretty even in Legacy those tricolor requirements.
Yeah, in the Wasteland format.
He's Abdin, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Or no, he's Sultai. He's Sultai.
Sultai, yes.
The Sultai mana requirement is still difficult to hit, especially in a format that plays, Wasteland. So I don't know. It's difficult, and I don't know if it's exactly worth it.
Right. I agree. Maybe I'll play some no rods in this list.
I think you should at least be playing one no rod.
Yeah, I was thinking playing a no rod, and I think there's argument that I should be playing a submerge.
Especially since no rod stops the storm deck from really going off.
Right.
And it stops. It basically stops off combo. Combo in Legacy basically focuses on Lion's Eye Diamond.
Well, Storm's gonna have a hard time with Deafening Silence. I'll tell you that.
I see that. Yeah. And rest in peace.
Yeah, I got some answers for Storm, but I don't even think Storm's like super heavy. As I say that, I'll play it multiple times.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know that.
No, I've played Magic long enough to know. Like they're like, oh, what'd you say, son? We got you, like all day. No, I think I should be playing a Submerge. Cause
I'm going to be playing. Me personally, I'm with my ninja list. I'm going to be playing a Submerging sideboard.
Because it's good against it's good against Depths. Yeah, I can't even say the name. It's good against Depths, and I actually bring it in against Teamer too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, just be able to when they go brainstorm, and then they fetch, and you can go in response submerge the Delver or the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yep.
It's kind of a blowout.
Oh, I agree. Like, no question. I don't know why people play Death Shadow still. That deck is not good.
It's definitely not the best. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's
definitely not the best.
I will never register that deck again. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. Like,
yeah.
I
kind of beat you down with those ninjas over and over and over again, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I couldn't beat that deck. Like,
yeah, I mean, pretty bad.
like, for real. Like, going back to this list, like, the list looks pretty sweet, though. Like, just, I could play a Snapcaster in the sideboard. It's pretty good in the Delver Mirrors.
I think Snapcaster Mage is pretty good. But, I don't know. I don't know if it fits in a deck, maybe it fits in a sword deck, I don't know. But if you're playing, what you could be doing, now here's another consideration, is you could be doing, Baleful Strix.
Ooh, yeah, Baleful Strix, you mean the other one?
Yeah, no, that's what the Ice Pick one.
It's gonna be hard to turn it on.
Yeah.
It'll never be turned on.
Yeah, but it's like it's a flash blocker, and I don't know. I It also draws a card, which is fine.
Right, there's argument for it for sure. I do love the Sylvan libraries. I love them in the mirrors. Just being able to outpace your opponent on value wise.
I
Um,
think, yeah, if you're playing like a control deck that has the option to play Sylvan Library, I think you absolutely should, because it really is a mirror breaker.
I 100% agree.
Especially when you like, I love the Sylvan Libraries when you look at the top three cards, and it's all lands, and you look at your hand. There's no way to shuffle the deck. It's like, okay, sure, I'll take 8, but now I have a fresh deck.
Yup. Oh yeah, definitely have done that. Like so many good things here. Like it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm definitely gonna play this Bant list. And just need hopefully draw well,
I think
play
you're gonna
well.
need to tune it. You're gonna need to tune it up a little bit and just draw, draw
Yep,
well.
that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I'm just gonna tune up the sideboard. That's the main thing I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I just don't see any reason why it wouldn't work.
I like I said, I'm not feeling the Jace. I'm also not feeling the Flusterstorm or Hydroblast. There might be a world where I
Yeah,
actually leave the Hydroblast just to respect goblins, but maybe not. I don't know.
and we've been talking a lot of about how good Oko is in Legacy, but I keep forgetting to mention Veil of Summer is still legal in Legacy.
Yes, and I get to
So
play it.
yeah, when you have the option like to play Veil of Summer in Legacy, you absolutely should.
Yes,
It's kind of absurd, especially when like your opponent spends their like people don't, especially new players of Legacy, they don't understand how just detrimental it is to lose a card in your hand for force.
yes,
Like you
I
should,
agree.
these people like a lot when you see a new player play Legacy, they force like the most random cards.
Yes,
When you see a player that's been playing a lot of Legacy, knows their matchups, knows their deck,
hmm
and they go, "I'm gonna cast him. You have that force. Watch it. You're just, yep, sure, sure, sure." And you end up with like 2 or 3 forces in hand, but you still haven't thrown one out there because you can't afford to lose a card in your hand.
right.
Legacy is still so heavily about, based on card advantage in hand,
Yep.
especially because like Delver's been so good for so long, and that's why they're so good is because they always have card advantage on you.
Yeah,
But
and that's huge.
yeah, so I mean, if you give me any chance to play Veil of Summer along with Force of Will, I'm probably going to be playing it.
That sounds awesome though. Um, yeah. What do you think about elves?
I think Elves is in a solid spot. I think it's one of those decks that's very difficult to play, though.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think, like, I know what the Elves deck does, and I could probably stumble my way through the combo, but I wouldn't be able to min max the deck, which is really where you want to be.
Right. Yeah, I'm not playing elves with like minimal reps though. There ain't no way that's happening.
A deck that could be up for consideration is Goblins, because Goblins, like, it is a very difficult deck to min max, but there's so much raw power in a lot of the cards in the deck
hmm
that sometimes it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. The deck is quite
Especially because
powerful.
Muxus is kind of dumb.
That card is
But by
bust.
kind of dumb, that card's just absurd.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I think. Do we have anybody else playing that this weekend?
I know Nate is going to be down for some Legacy. Or no, I think he's not. I think Adam might be. I know Noah's playing finally.
Oh yeah, he
But
is playing. I forgot about him.
yeah, so we're gonna have a few people playing Legacy. It's not gonna be just me and you this time around, and Steven, obviously, because I know Steven's gonna be down for some Legacy.
I mean, it depends how he feels. I don't know if he's 100% in yet or not, but we'll see.
Oh, he'll be in.
Yeah.
He'll be in.
Cool.
Legacy's sweet right now. It's a lot of fun, but again, I think Oko's a problem.
Right. But yeah, we're probably gonna wrap this weeks up with talking about legacy. Like I said, we've had little weird stuff happen this week with sickness and everything, but we'll get back on track. I'm looking forward to jamming some more drafts. I gotta figure out my standard deck for tomorrow. Like I said, I'm definitely playing Soul Tie. It's a matter of what list. And then Sunday, I'm probably going to be playing that band list as I was talking about it. With the minor adjustments to the list, of course. And it does look like Nate is currently testing elves, and he's 3-1 right now.
Yeah, no, the deck is, like I said, Elves is, he's actually, like I said, he's one of the players on our team that's like old legacy. It's all he jams.
Yes.
And he's actually owns Elves in paper, and he's crushed me quite a few times. Like when we were testing for the Energy Championship.
Yep.
That was one of our decks where I was just like, I might as well know the deck. So if I do play it, I'll know what to do.
Yes, I agree. And that's awesome. Like, it's always good to have an idea what you're doing.
Yeah. Especially in a format as wide as Legacy.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I'm looking forward. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, we're all uploaded on Google, Apple, and all that now, aren't we?
Yeah, okay. On everything.
We have made it to all platforms finally, which is awesome.
Yeah, we've made it, my friend. We've made it.
So for those watching this on YouTube, you can go on your Android phone, your Apple phone. You can go on Spotify. I usually post the links at least for Apple and Spotify. I've been posting the links because I have access and I know where to go directly for them. Google, I don't have any Google devices or anything, so I don't have any way to actually get the links.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar myself with how the Google podcasts work.
I don't either. I have an iPhone, so I don't know at all. I do know how the Apple works. When you're on Apple, for some reason, I look up Talking Swish, it doesn't come up. You have to actually put in Swish Gaming. Yeah,
it's kind of weird, but it registered us as Swish Gaming instead of Talking Swish. You need to search for the channel, and then it shows up as the show shows up as part of the channel.
Yeah, which is so weird that you can't just search Talking Swish and it would just pop up the show. But I'm just grateful that we're on there. That's all I care about. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Preserve everybody else's time. Andrew, it was nice having you as the guest host alongside with me since Stephen wanted to be weak.
Yeah, he deserved it one time.
Yeah. Oh, this is the second time he's missed. I've been here every week.
He doesn't have an excuse this time.
The first excuse is because he had a birthday party.
Weak excuse.
And then,
right there.
Then I'm convinced, so we were supposed to all go to the beach Thursday, right? We planned it on Sunday. We were all going to go to, they wanted to go to a beach or something. I'm like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I would think about it. And then Steven, of course, don't want to go to the beach. And this is Sunday night. Monday, he get up, everything. He's like, I'm super sick. I'm convinced he was faking. It's been a big old charade to get out of the beach so he didn't have to go. He thinks he's fooling some. I just wanted to go grab some nice food over by the water. Like, they got some nice restaurants over there. But no, he wanted to ruin it and fake a fever. Like,
some kids these days, Larry.
Kids these days. I don't know what's wrong with them. But no, like I said, we're going to be doing I'll do the Red Bull tomorrow. And then we're all going to be, a good chunk of us is going to be doing that Legacy Open. Definitely check out Nerd Rage Gaming. They run a tight ship over there. Norm, like we both mentioned, awesome guy. I look forward to doing many more of his events. But until next time, again, this is Larry. This has been Andrew alongside with me. We will catch y'all later.